All right, Mr. Patrick Francie, we have some young, new, fresh blood with us today on Facebook Live, and I know that sounded super graphic there, Jesse, but you got to appreciate that we're typically talking real estate all the time, and today we're going to talk real estate as well, Patrick. But we're going to have a different twist on it because we're going to talk a little bit about crypto, a little about NFTs, and this is just the beginning of the conversation that we're going to finish at the upcoming Rethink Real Estate Conference. Patrick, I'm pretty excited. Are you excited?
I am absolutely stoked. And, for the community that's listening to this, I did a podcast on the Everyday Millionaire with Jesse, and it really opened up a whole realm of relationship and conversation into some of the content that we want to deliver at Rethinking Real Estate. It really is a game changer as we see the future. So very, very excited about our conversation with Jesse today.
That is quite an intro. I'd say 0 to 100, like real quick. So excited to be here. Thanks, JG. Thanks, Patrick.
Well, first of all, Jesse, we want to say thanks for being so gracious with your time and helping educate us real estate investors around crypto and NFT. And I don't know how you're feeling, Patrick and Jesse. We haven't actually talked about this, but I feel like if crypto and NFT is at the cutting edge of things, technology and things, return on investment and all that, if that's where your mind is, I kind of feel like real estate's at the opposite end of that stick, where real estate is like the oldest industry there is as it relates to return on investment and store of value and store of wealth and all the various things. So Jesse, we're super pumped to have you. And I think this is going to be number one, I don't want to say controversial, but an eye-opening, and it will be a little bit interesting because I think we're introducing new thoughts and new ideas that people haven't thought of before. So Jesse, let's start with a quick little intro about you. You're the co-founder of PowerFan, which is a really, really cool company. Yeah, there you go. So give us a quick little intro on you and your kind of crypto NFT journey. How did you get here?
Absolutely. So PowerFan, we've existed for about a year now. We're focused on NFTs as well as decentralized finance, mostly for authors, content creators, and artists of different stripes. My own background in crypto really started about 2017. A good friend of mine hit me up. He said, buy as much Ethereum as you can. And I said, why? He goes, because it's going up, silly. It was $80 back then. I think as of today, it's around 4,000. And so that story has played out for many people in different ways over 3 or 4 years. But I kind of had a big spike of interest in 2017, got really active, had a few wins, a bunch of losses. 2018, 19 into 2020, it was kind of like crypto winter. I was focused on something else, but I got the hit in the end of 2020 that NFTs were going to be one of the biggest narratives in 2021. And they were 20x growth year over year. So that's continuing. That's one timeline we're on and kind of brings us up to present.
So, so if you're listening to this, folks, and you heard NFT and you go, what the heck is an NFT? Okay, we're talking about a non-fungible token. The next question is, well, if it's non-fungible, what's a fungible token? And what's this crypto winter you're talking about? Some of you, there's different points of entry in these conversations, folks. And, JG and I've spent, literally probably collectively thousands of hours researching and looking into where this is going and why we want to introduce this whole conversation to the community. Jesse, of course, has spent years getting to where he is today. And so this conversation is really understanding the future and where the world of crypto or blockchain, NFTs, how they play into real estate. And we want to be ahead of it. It is cutting edge. It is bleeding edge, as a matter of fact. And so for some of you listening, you're going, okay, guys, what the heck are you talking about right now? And I want you to kind of trust our reputation for actually guiding and leading you forward, because this is an exciting time. And you do, in fact, want to pay attention and start to get familiar with what is NFT and a non-fungible token. And we won't get into it today. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. So JG, I know that you've really embraced, well, I shouldn't say you've really embraced it, but you've definitely taken some really proactive steps.
Well, that's actually the purpose of this conference, actually, Patrick, is to open the conversation about all of these different things like crypto. What does that mean? What does it mean for us as real estate investors? Decentralized finance. Jesse said DeFi. And I got to say that, I was operating in the DeFi space for like weeks weeks until I was like, what the hell does DeFi even mean? I didn't even understand what it meant. I had to Google what is DeFi. So there's a lot of acronyms and words and language and all this stuff. And Jesse, that's actually what your job is going to be at this conference, is to break that down for people and take people methodically through the thinking process of how crypto interacts, how it's blockchain and how it's NFTs and how it's DeFi. And specifically, and then I'm curious to get a couple thoughts from you on this, Jesse, but what are the real world applications on this stuff? Like, is it only about investing in these cryptocurrencies and hoping they go up, or does it do other things? And what we're about to reveal is these things right now have real world applications. And it's not even close to being perfect. Shit, it is clunky, it's difficult, it's challenging. But Jesse, they do have real world applications, don't they?
Oh, that's absolutely right, JG. And one of the things that I'll be focused on at the upcoming conference for you and for everybody that attends is how you can go from earning 0.01% interest on your bank balance to up to 20% interest on essentially the same US dollar or Canadian dollar denominated cryptocurrency asset.
20%. Are you sure you're measuring numbers the same way I'm measuring numbers? I didn't even think that was possible.
To be totally honest, it can fluctuate a few tenths of a percentage. So maybe some days you're at 19.4, maybe some days 19.5%. But yes, that's actually available and is something I've been utilizing myself for a number of months, and we'll be pulling the curtain back on exactly how all that works very soon.
Well, within the community, of course, we have a range of, members who have different experiences, kind of from 0 to 100. And, the thing is that, within the RAIN community, and, JG and I are really committed to leading the way. We're actually taking on these applications. We're playing in that space ourselves. And we also know that many of the RAIN community are leaders within their communities, within their families, within their circle of influence. So we really do want to supply them the education. Now, it's interesting, that you get a 19% return on money that's sitting there. And what better way to put cash flow that you may have sitting in your account today? You don't want to spend it, you want to remain liquid, but how the heck do you get a return on that investment? And that is one way to do it, is to go through the process of setting yourself up where you can, in fact, get a 19% return on your capital.
Well, I want to think about that for a second, because, and Jesse, this is where, when you said this to me, and listen, you saw my face the first time you told me this, I just about fell off my chair, because as real estate investors, we go through periods where we're very liquid, and then we're not as liquid, and we're very liquid. And those periods of time, because it's real estate and it's not a very liquid asset class, not compared to other asset classes, we could be very liquid for months. Sometimes if you're especially if you're doing a development project like I do, I could be liquid, quite frankly, for years. I could be liquid for 6, 8, 18 months, depending on the project going on. If I could park that cash for 20%, that's a game changer.
That's why I'm going to put a slide in the presentation, JG. Are you sitting down? Because I did see your face, and I don't want anybody to fall out of their chair, but quite frankly, it is a game changer. And, we will get into the details of that. But the important elements are that, yes, you're liquid. In fact, there's even benefits to having your liquid cash on a blockchain asset, in that it's transferable 24/7, 365, not just in bank or business hours. And of course, the possibility to start generating returns while being liquid, like in a matter of moments. If you had a deal that needed to close on that day, you're not locked up. So that's a little preview of like what's currently available, and we'll even preview where you can go beyond that as part of the conference presentation.
And that for me right there, Jesse, is what's so exciting, because my eyes recently have been opened around this whole space, and I'm thinking, wow, these are real world applications right now for us real estate investors. I can't wait for 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 60 months from now it is going to be bananas. What can happen if it continues on the current trajectory? So I'm really pumped about that. And that's the biggest thing I think we want, Patrick, you and I, is want real estate investors to understand this is relevant to real estate investors. This isn't like them, us against them. It's not like those crypto people over there and us real estate investors over here. I mean, this whole space it works all together. And actually in my keynote, Rethinking Real Estate, the keynote, which happens, I think it's the third keynote of the day, before Jesse's, I'm actually going to show you all the different spaces and how they come together for us real estate investors. So that's what I'm excited about, Patrick, is this is all one big space that does nothing but open possibilities for us as real estate investors.
Well, yeah, and I think what I love about this conversation as well is that we have been seeing the future. We talked about inflation almost 2 years ago getting to where it is today. We talked about the different supply chain breakdowns. There is a connection to all of these things. And this is one of the ways that we, as real estate investors, as leaders in our communities, but also just as investors, how do we protect our financial futures? And this is a very, very important component of it going forward. Does it impact you today? Well, arguably yes or arguably no, but we believe 100% research evidence points that direction. And I know, Jesse, you're seeing the future as well when it comes to blockchain, NFTs, and what this crypto world is going to mean to people. And it's up to us, really, to take on the responsibility of learning what is new and what we have to do to, once again, create that financial future for ourselves and have that financial certainty that we're looking for.
Oh, Jesse, I applaud both of you for what you're doing in terms of leading the charge, putting your own money at work, getting your hands on this stuff so that you can introduce your broader community to these opportunities. And just thinking about real estate, right? From an investment perspective, it's a fairly reliable store of value that can return a reasonably, guesstimated amount over time. And what's being created with crypto are ways to generate similar returns with similar means of reliability and security around them. So I think that's maybe a bridge, like conceptually, that it's not crypto's this wild thing out here that I can't understand. It's capital, it's assets, it's value that can be set up and engineered in a similar way that a real estate investment has different stages of earning in its own life cycle economically.
And I think we just need to add to that as well, Jesse and JG, is that, we're not suggesting that blockchain's the new thing and go all in on blockchain. What we're saying is, as a diversified portfolio, there's often conversations, well, I own 30 different stocks. Well, okay, that's a diversified portfolio in that old kind of framework. The new framework of a diversified portfolio actually includes real estate. It includes stocks, and it definitely is going to, and does today, include blockchain / cryptocurrencies of some form, and this is a learning curve, and it really is wrapping our arms around that opportunity that lives there for real estate investors who are being very profitable in their real estate world, especially today.
Yeah. Jesse, I will give you the final word on this. If someone's listening to this right now and they're thinking, I'm not sure, I don't know about this. What do you say to that person who's on the fence, who's thinking, I'm not sure I should really pay attention? What do you say to that person, Jesse, to make sure they come to Rethink Real Estate Conference?
I got two things, JG. And the first one is Bitcoin has been the number one performing asset class in the last 10 years across all asset classes in the world. So maybe that gets your attention. With that, that's probably the big one. But
yeah, it is a very
as a
big
real
one.
estate investor, you understand the power of compounding and interest. So picture the people who took action in 2017. Some of them I know have 8-9 figure net worths now. The people that took action last year are starting to compound. And if you start taking action this year, you're on a growth curve that's going to continue for a long time. That's my personal view. But that's why you should come and check out the conference, and I'll have more to share there.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jesse. I can't wait to share the stage with you. Patrick, thank you so much for doing this. And we'll see you guys January 22nd, Rethink Real Estate Conference. Folks, time to get your tickets. The link is in the description below. So get that now. Thanks, gang.
Thanks, Dennis.